The Fantasy Footballer Studio is sponsored by Walmart. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
It's football time? Was the point for me to do it?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it football time?
It is.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to jump in.
I was confused.
Oh.
Yeah, football time. Yeah, let's go.
Thursday, September 11th. Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers. We have matchups on today's show, starts of the week. We've got news to talk about. San Francisco can't stay healthy. We almost need a drop specifically for them.
I ordered
somebody falling down the stairs.
Since I do all those voiceover work, I'm working on a new, 49ers injury bit.
Update.
Update.
Okay.
It'll be coming.
Let me hear a little bit of that voice.
Well, Mike always does like some.
Yeah, I
After
gotta
Effects.
do a lot of stuff to it.
So
install a lot of software.
Hey, it's almost like I turn it into another person.
Right. Just feels like that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. We have week 2 ahead of us, and we'll put to bed some of the week 1. I guess I would say like our expectations for some of these players they might change, and then some of those week 1 performances you may get a follow up that makes you feel very confident about them, and some of the players in the starts of the week today are some players that we think maybe will a couple of them are guys that had good week 1s.
Yeah, I know my running back start of the week is scary because it was a player that, is not supposed to be great week 1, was great week 1, and I'm saying start him this week.
I will tell you from Jason trying to trade me Keon Coleman multiple times that he doesn't necessarily believe Keon Coleman's going to keep doing what he did in week 1.
I'm trying to acquire my running back start of the week.
Okay.
All right.
Reminder, the weekly rankings, the Start Sit tool, a bunch of articles every week from an amazing writing staff, all available at thefantasyfootballers.com for free. So you can check that out and make sure you prep your lineup up this weekend. Let's jump right into the news.
News and notes from around the league, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Brock Purdy, a long shot to play this week, according to Kyle Shanahan. He's dealing with a turf toe variant.
I did see it was
like it. It was like turf toe.
It's just kind of does that mean it's like evolved?
I don't know. That's more like athlete's foot. That evolved.
It's a multiverse turf toe.
But they are saying that the injury could be 2 to 5 weeks, which is quite the range. But this is obviously serious. They said earlier when he had the 2 different injuries that the toe was more serious, and it will keep him out.
Chris Godwin expected to return to practice today for the first time. Week 5 remains the target return date for Chris Godwin.
Tristan Wirfs as well returned to practice. Not going to play yet, but
we'd like to see that they're practicing.
Mm-hmm.
We have Evan Ingram limited on Wednesday with the calf injury he suffered in week 1.
Or as Jason would say, just limited. He also has a calf injury, though.
Right. Dallas Goedert, knee sprain, availability for week 2 for the Eagles, up in the air.
This one is very special for fantasy football players I don't think anyone had a real inclination that Goddard was hurt. And then waivers ran, and there were 2 very juicy tight ends on the waiver wire, and people with Goddard were probably like, I don't know if I need one or not. And then Wednesday they went, shoot!
I did.
Well, and a lot of people picked up Goddard. They spent, if he was on the waivers, if he went undrafted, they picked him up. It's also important for fantasy because we have a good amount of history with Goddard missing games, and when that happens, the two primary wide receivers, especially Devontae Smith, he usually skyrockets up in games that Dallas Goedert misses, but it'll be A.J. Brown after his poor outing in week 1. If Goddard doesn't go, hopefully the wide receivers can
you don't
soak it all up.
Refer to the wide receiver one? What the first
Jahan Dotson?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it was bad for both Brown and Devontae Smith in week 1, so we'd like to see them bounce back. Quinshon Judkins didn't practice Wednesday, was meeting with the NFL, expected to practice today. and we'll see if he's available and active at all for the Browns. So you're Dylan Sampson, Jerome Ford.
I would imagine that if he is active, you're still not going to play him
limited
this week
in workload.
Right. You could. If Judkins plays this week, I don't think it changes really anything. Which is no matter what, I'm not playing Ford because he was so bad in week 1, and I think you could play Sampson in either situation if you're in a full PPR league where he should get the passing work.
That was News and Notes, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Let's jump right in.
Starts of the week, presented by Paramount Plus.
All right, I felt good about 3 of my 4 last week. Joe Burrow didn't work out. I was trying to get a week 1 Joe Burrow performance.
Nobody can get Joe Burrow to play well in week 1.
What was great was that the world did react to, like, you. How dare you put him as your start of the week in week 1?
It's too easy.
Because it's too easy. You drafted him too high. Oh, what the?
Oh.
All right, well.
I mean, it was pretty sad.
This morning. Yeah, it was sad. I didn't mean to hit that, but it was sad. Week 2 starts of the week, Jason. Kick us off at quarterback.
I'm going to go with a guy that I think I'm bought into. Maybe, you don't overreact from 1 week. I am overreacting from a week. I'm bought into for the rest of the season. I think Justin Herbert will be throwing the ball enough this season to be very important for fantasy. I loved the way that he ran the ball. He had more designed runs, and he scrambled quicker. He has athleticism. He had 32 rushing yards, 318 passing yards. That was against a very good Kansas City defense. The Chargers are 3.5-point road favorites in a dome against the Raiders, where last year he was the quarterback 3 when they played there. His weapons are the best he's had maybe in his entire career. I would say definitely in his entire career. I think this version of Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Huge, the 2 rookies.
You're going to include Huge.
Absolutely, I'm going to include Huge.
I didn't know if we were there yet.
Yeah, well, when he is the third option, when he's literally like I'm going to go to Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey, and you can't stop me all the time, and the defense has to guard that. Oh, now I can throw a deep shot to Huge. It's perfect for his skill set.
All right, Mike, what do you got?
I'm going with Kyler Murray.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, like he's playing. Yeah, I'll do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
The quarterback 7 after week 1.
Yeah.
Actually, in week 1, what was he? Because he's QB7 for us ranking this upcoming week.
I think he was higher than that.
He had 2 passing touchdowns. At least the promise of the offseason of like, hey, I think Kyler is actually going to run more. He himself said, I need to do that. And he did. It wasn't necessarily the prettiest of decisions when he chose to scramble and how it was happening, but we at least saw it. We saw 7 rush attempts for 38 yards. They are big home favorites against the Carolina Panthers. I expect the Cardinals' running game to get it going, but I also expect that, like Kyler, the 2 passing touchdowns with another 40 on the ground I think is in the range of possibilities.
We had. Well, look, Kyler was almost my start of the week. I had him in there, but the guy I think will run more than Kyler and why I moved him into my start of the week was Justin Fields. He takes on Buffalo. We saw that incredible Buffalo-Baltimore game last week. It wasn't just the legs against Pittsburgh that were great. He was also number 1 in completion percentage over expectation among all quarterbacks. Not something you've been able to look to Justin Fields for in the past, but he had the connection going with all of his receivers. 9.9 yards per attempt. It wasn't just dink and dunk stuff. And they play Buffalo this week. The Jets do. Buffalo gave up the most yards per play in the NFL in week 1. Yes, it was Lamar, but I think Justin Fields follows up a good week 1 with a great week 2. And I'm excited to see what happens.
At running back, I do not believe this will be a complete rest of season the way that I do think so with Justin Herbert, but it will be a week 2 success with Travis Etienne coming off a great performance against the worst run defense we've seen in our generation. The thing is he's the guy now. There's clarity. He had 19 opportunities, 31% of the team's total rush attempts and targets, and then it was like, well, is it going to be him? Is it going to be Tank Bigsby? It's not going to be Tank Bigsby. They traded him. So, maybe Tootin gets a little bit more involved, but this is Etienne's backfield, especially right now, certainly in week 2. And if you look at week 1, how good he was, the Jaguars' offensive line ranked 4th in adjusted yards before contact. Now, again, that's the Carolina defense, but he gets the Bengals defense, which is pretty close, if you could call it defense. So I think it's a great matchup for him. I don't think Tootin is going to work his way in enough right off the bat in week 2. So, yeah, Etienne's a good play. Fire him up. Make sure he's in your lineup.
I'm going with Jordan Mason, Minnesota Vikings running back against the Atlanta Falcons. Aaron Jones had the highlight touchdown, but if you didn't pay attention, Jordan Mason was incredibly involved. He was the early down guy. Mason ended up 13 for 69, and Jones was 7 for 21. And the thing that I find interesting about this is they tried at the beginning to have it be Aaron Jones. Like they gave Aaron Jones a couple carries that went nowhere. And then Jordan Mason gets brought in, and he is the power back. The Vikings are 3.5-point home favorites against the Falcons right now, so I love that environment. And just for some more context, like my dynasty team right now, I have Jordan Mason in my lineup over Kenneth Walker. So like that's the type of play that I'm talking about.
All right, I'm going with Breece Hall taking on the Bills. Yes, back-to-back Jets. It feels so good.
We're not done yet.
It feels so good. Look, this is it was very clear in week 1 who the lead back was, not just by opportunity, but by talent and juice.
He looked so fast.
He looked great, and the Bills just got absolutely gashed. Big play after big play. And if you look at those Henry big runs, they had room. He had room to, get to that second level. That's when Henry turns on the Jets. And so based on what I saw in week 1, the success Breece had against the Pittsburgh defense we expected to be a lot better. I think it was a lot about Breece. I think it was about the offensive line getting it done. And so I think Breece follows it up in week 2.
My wide receiver start of the week is DK Metcalf. In a revenge game, he will be at home, not in Seattle, but he's playing against the Seahawks. And I think he's got plenty to prove. Aaron Rodgers has spoke so glowingly of him. This last week, we saw it, right? 26% of his routes he was targeted. He had 7 targets. He didn't have a great game, 4 catches for 83. That's a pretty good game. No touchdown, but he had Sauce Gardner on him for a lot of that. He knows the Seahawks. He's working with Aaron Rodgers, who Aaron Rodgers hyper-targets his number one. He's always been, whether it was Devontae Adams or Jordan Nelson or Garrett Wilson, he can make fantasy stars, and I think this is a perfect matchup for him against Seattle.
Speaking of Garrett Wilson, 3 Jets in the starts of the week.
Oh, gosh, what are we doing?
What could possibly go wrong here? He was the alpha. 36% of the team's targets, ends up 7 for 95 and 1. We mentioned it. He was just a fraction away from a second touchdown, and maybe the Buffalo secondary bounces back because that was just Lamar and the Ravens. However, it was the 3rd most fantasy points to the wide receiver position in week 1, allowing 17 yards per catch. I think Garrett Wilson can have another big day.
All right, I am going to go with Keenan Allen against the Raiders this week, that Monday Night Football game. The tandem with Justin Herbert, he was right back to the target machine we know him to be, which was cool to see in week 1. Joining this team, he had a better-than-expected season with Chicago. 28% of his routes he was targeted, and he has dominated the Raiders historically. I think Keenan is a great play.
My tight end start of the week, you just picked him up off of waivers. You had to spend quite a bit to get him.
Good.
It's Jawan Johnson against the San Francisco 49ers. You put him right into your lineup. This is probably their second target in their receiving game.
Yes.
He's their slot wide receiver.
Yes,
and you don't usually get that from a tight end. That's what we saw in week 1. 34 of his 74 snaps were in the slot.
They played so fast.
I mean, 99% of team snaps is awesome, but the fact that he wasn't there to block, he was out there running routes. It was like 96% route participation, unbelievably great. He was 5th most among all players in week 1 in those slot snaps, and he had a 24% target share, 4th highest among all tight ends. Now you've got a matchup against San Francisco where their defense is not the defense it used to be. The usage is so unbelievable that I'm not really worried about him falling flat. I think his floor is pretty high. Now, will he get a touchdown and have a dominant, like, oh my gosh, Juwan Johnson won me my week? I don't expect that with Spencer Rattler. But in a position where you're just not sure if you're going to end up with a point or 5, I feel like the baseline here in any kind of half PPR league is like you've got a 6-point base where if he has a real bad game, he's going to catch enough balls. And if he breaks one tackle, does something special, you can get to double digits pretty easy.
The mustache is worth the start of the week anyways.
Is he rocking a mustache?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Stop the presses.
He looks chiseled.
Oh, man, look at this guy with the mustache. I'm moving him up the rankings now.
I told you some of our analysis is database. Some of it is
different.
Look, we are very pro mustache.
I'm seeing a picture of him next to the character from Severance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty stellar.
The solution for poor quarterback play when we're talking about fantasy football is just an overabundance of snaps and plays, and that's what the Saints gave us last week, and that is what Kellen Moore has historically done. My tight end start of the week, it's Kyle Pitts.
Oh, dear.
It is Kyle Pitts. 8 targets turned into 7 for 59. It was the tight end 12 on the week. I mean, finishing as a top 12 tight end where you're not scoring, like you'll take that because then you actually have true upside. He lined up in the slot on 49% of his snaps, ran a route on 81% of the Atlanta Falcons dropbacks, which that's 4th in terms of the tight end position. And I expect that Minnesota is going to create a game script where they will have to throw. So Kyle Pitts, I'd stay with it.
All right, I'm going to go with Brenton Strange against the Bengals. This is a lot.
I like this one.
It's a little about Strange, who was very involved in week 1, but it's a lot about the Bengals, who, until they prove otherwise, I'm going to believe that they don't know the opposing team starts tight ends because they were the worst.
I mean, Harold Fannin, everyone and
Njoku.
Yeah, I was saying the world is so excited for Harold Fannin. I think justifiably so, but it's like he was playing against the Bengals.
Last year, the Bengals were dead last in fantasy points given up to tight ends, and in week 1, they're 29th, and they give up over 15 points to tight ends. So I'm really chasing that. It's a great matchup, a great situation. The Bengals defense sucks, and Brenton Strange seems like he's needed and necessary for the offense. He had 59 receiving yards in week 1. That was a team high. He caught all 4 of his targets, and he'll probably get another 4 to 5, if not more, with a red zone chance. I'm going to go with Brenton Strange.
If you lost Dallas Goedert, there's a chance that Brenton Strange was not picked up as everyone went after Fannin and Juwan Johnson.
Absolutely. So that was Starts of the Week presented by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is the streaming home to the NFL on CBS. Get started at ParamountPlus.com/NFL. We'll take a break and jump into the forecast. All right, you blink and week 2, here we are.
Fantasy Forecast, presented by Prize Picks.
We get to talk about that matchup right away. Jacksonville, 1-0, travels to Cincinnati, who had 7 total yards in the second half of their victory, who are also 1-0. And Vegas has Cincinnati 3.5-point home favorites. The over/under is 48.5.
Very nice.
I believe it's tied right now for the highest of the week. The Green Bay Washington game is also
no 50s?
Nope, not yet. They're usually a little, more reined in. Because we don't know what's going on yet.
Both of these teams they're 1-0, and yet we were bummed mostly.
Correct.
By both of them in week 1 that we thought we'd see higher scoring affairs. The Bengals offense was incredibly boring. Nothing explosive. They couldn't do anything. Burrow targeted his wide receivers a career low 39% of the time last game. So you had the tight ends involved, right? Noah Fant was getting passes, and Gesicki and Chase Brown. And then Lawrence, he was okay, but Brian Thomas Jr., it just didn't work out. I think he was what did he catch? 2 of 7 targets or something like that? 1 of 7 targets. Somebody looked that up.
I'm looking.
It was 7 targets.
1 of 7.
7 targets, 1 for 11. So not good. And Travis Hunter, he had the most targets on the roster, but nothing big. So we're supposed to see him play a little bit more defense this week. But let's start at the quarterback position. It should be
You're playing Burrow.
a bounce back for Burrow and Chase and Higgins, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jaguars last year were ranked dead last against quarterbacks. This is, they might look a little bit more scary if you're looking at your platform, like, oh, the strength of schedule. It's 1 week, and they played against Bryce Young, who looked abysmal. So, yeah, no one is benching Joe Burrow after one bad week.
But what about Lawrence?
Lawrence is, to me, someone that if you're really, really not confident in your quarterback, he is a waiver wire guy that you could put in there. But he's primarily more of like a 2 QB. I think he's a good quarterback 2 this week.
So Trevor Lawrence or Drake May?
Drake May.
Bo Nix against the Colts.
I'm going to stay with Bo Nix another week.
Okay, and I'll go one tier down. Let's go J.J. McCarthy.
That's
Lawrence. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I go Lawrence there. J.J. McCarthy had such an incredibly good fourth quarter, but he still showed kind of the early game jitters, the rookie. That was a tough matchup against.
Yeah, and now he's at home. Just saying, I think those two might end up closer than people would think.
I mean, they are like back-to-back in my rankings.
Oh, perfect.
Is that true? NFC Offensive Player of the Week,
Yeah, he
J.J.
was.
McCarthy?
He was. I thought it was a little egregious. I mean, he played great for a quarter, and he led the team to a comeback. I get that, but someone else had to have been better.
That's what I was trying to think about in the NFC. It's like I'm kind of struggling to find something. Maybe that must be why. I mean, nobody's jumping out.
You're right.
So
it was a pretty blah week of football.
Chase Brown,
games.
While the Bengals did not put up the points.
Oh, yeah, I would have gone Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is in the AFC, boys.
Oh, God, Jason.
Couple of idiots.
I got you,
No, that's Jason's fault. He's just throwing out names.
Derrick Henry, huh? Guys.
Goodness
Do you know how good he was?
Jason and his conferences.
Yeah.
Chase Brown, 52% of the team's total rush attempts and targets. Look at the workload, not necessarily at the, Bengals offense in week 1 that was slowed down frequently. Chase Brown is a must start. Travis Etienne's Jason's start of the week. Brian Thomas Jr., I said it, 7 targets, just 1 catch, had a rushing touchdown. He'll be okay. They'll figure out ways to get him the football. Chase and Higgins are in your lineup. Travis Hunter, is he a flex play this week? Would you play?
I think because.
Would you play him over Judy?
Ooh.
Travis Hunter, like I said, he led the team in targets. He had 8 targets in this game, just nothing. They could not break a big play.
He was really close to one big broken play. I'm fine having Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter both as like just wash away week 1 and expect what you expect with great talent.
That's wild that between them, they caught 4 of 15 targets.
The thing is about Trevor Lawrence, I don't remember if I brought this up on air or if it was when we were watching football on Sunday or whatever, but he reminds me a lot of Kyler Murray in the sense that he is not a bad quarterback, but he will never be a great quarterback. And both of them, they have their games where they just look, you go, wow, okay, he's figuring this out. Last week Trevor Lawrence was not dialed in. But if Trevor Lawrence comes out and looks dialed in against this Bengals matchup, it's going to be a really, really No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I feel it.
You're not.
No, I feel it.
Feel deeper.
I feel it.
Think more.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
2 weeks in a row.
It's a good sign.
I don't mind it.
2 weeks in a row.
A little absurd.
Week 1 it hit though. It covered. I mean, it's 17-16.
You can't be more of an almost upset than the team that absolutely should have won the game.
Well,
losing by 1.
I'm going to go with it. We talked about Britton Strange, and then there's too many tight ends in Cincinnati to care about any of them. The Giants are 0-1. They take on the 0-1 Dallas Cowboys in a divisional battle. Now, what division is that, Jay?
That would be NFC. Okay, how about
that's
this?
A conference.
Yeah, that's.
I'm looking for the division.
Oh, the East.
Yeah.
How about this? Going back to the J.J. McCarthy or Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, no, it'd be McCarthy for sure.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Mike agrees.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
No, accumulating a bunch of like short catches does not win you an offensive player of the week.
Well,
it wasn't even close.
He carried the whole offense.
He did, but the impact of on the road first start coming back in the fourth. I'd go
I would
McCarthy
go
over that.
On the road, getting a win.
Yeah.
Like McCaffrey.
No,
not even close.
All right.
McCaffrey's performance was not special.
no.
He does that all the time. He should be at every week then. I mean, he does that every single week. If you had a breakaway touchdown run or you did something
he has
special,
to score twice to get it.
yeah. I mean, Jaden Daniels deserves it over him last week for sure.
Okay.
But you did get the right conference on that one.
Thank you.
Giants 0-1, Dallas 0-1. Dallas 4.5-point favorites. Over under is 44.5. Wild fact for you: Dak Prescott has won 13 straight games against the Giants.
No way.
That is a lot.
13 straight. That's insane. That is the longest win streak any quarterback has had against a single opponent since, and we can probably remember this one, Brady against Buffalo. There was a time when Brady won 13 in a row against Buffalo.
That's blowing my mind right now.
It really is. It's wild. He is Brian Dable is 0-6 against the Cowboys.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, but Dak hasn't always been there, but
Sure.
they still managed to lose. Look, on paper right now, you got Russell Wilson starting this game. Tyrone Tracy, if you want to look at week 1, this was a game where they played the Commanders. Tyrone Tracy dominated the touches and the snaps. So
74% of snaps.
74%. It didn't go anywhere, and Scadaboo's didn't either on his limited touches, but Tracy is the workhorse right here, right now. So
He is for now. And the hard thing for Tracy is with overtime, Scadaboo, I believe, will eat into the workload. Maybe Tracy remains the 1A or whatever, but are the Giants, as the transition of the Giants are moving from Russ to Jackson Dart, which will happen. I'm not sure which week, but it's like by the time that happens, and then we have more hope for the Giants, has Scadaboo taken into a 1B? Because if Tracy's still dominating the
what
touches,
about just on this week, just against the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't want to start. Tracy.
Here's the problem: we don't have a lot of options at running back in fantasy right now. People are
let's get some
people are
names
playing
here.
Dobbins out there.
Would you
People
rather
are putting
play-
Nick Chubb out there.
I'd play Dobbins.
Eckler tonight, or
I would play
I'd play
Eckler.
Eckler.
I'd play Eckler.
What
But
about Bill?
No,
I would play Bill.
I would play Bill.
I'd play Tracy.
I'm starting to think Bill has a better game than Eckler tonight.
Oh, this was after yesterday's. It was like everybody but Bill. Or do you want to formally
Bill
Krosky this thing?
Yeah, I think if the Commanders have a good game against the Packers, it will be because of Bill Krosky.
Well, we're going to watch. We're going to see.
and
Javonte
of
Williams.
course,
Javonte
Daniels.
Williams had 2 touchdowns in week 1. 33% of the team's total rushing attempts and targets. Anything over 30% on that number is truly elite.
Yeah, if you have I'd play Javonte over Tracy.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
The Javonte, you'll be playing him. The thing to watch, honestly, is Jaden Blue still a healthy scratch? Because Jaden Blue is the threat to Javonte. I don't think it's not going to end up being Miles. It's just how long does it take for Jaden Blue to get integrated into this offense?
Javonte over Jalen Warren. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Tony Pollard against the Rams defense. You guys talked up the Rams defense. I'd probably play Javonte.
That one's really tough
one.
because Pollard looked so good, but the Rams defense is good. I lean Pollard there. I don't want to get fooled
too.
by
Not by
2
a lot.
touchdowns from Javonte week 1. And also,
I think-
the snap percentage was absolutely elite for Javonte. But remember, they brought in Miles Sanders, and then he fumbled the ball. And then they
You think he
basically
got benched? 'Cause
If
of the
Miles
I
Sanders
wonder
had
if he
one
did.
carry, it would be too many.
But my point is, I wonder if the numbers were just inflated week 1 if they benched Miles Sanders for losing the fumble there.
They should keep benching him.
Well, sure, but maybe they don't.
Yeah. Okay. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, put them back out there. Jake Ferguson. It was a big dud in week 1. 5 for 23. The targets were there. Should have caught a touchdown, though. I think you can go right back to him.
He always should have caught a touchdown, man.
His whole?
It is his superpower. The way that Jalen Waddle gets injured every game and then comes back every game. No one ever has more in zone, red zone targets than Jake Ferguson with no touchdowns. Like, you can't just
Dude's tired of getting blown up.
You can't forever say, like, oh man, if you look at the behind the scenes metrics, he should have, like, his expected touchdowns is like 800 more than he has.
Well, are you playing him?
Yeah. Sure. No, I mean, I think, the targets, the offense, I presume they are favored. Yeah, they're 4.5-point favorites. Yeah, he's a fine low-end start. But honestly, a lot of the guys like Juwan Johnson, I would play over him.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Malik Neighbors limited on Wednesday. That's probably going to be a thing all season long, but he's going to play. Wan'Dale Robinson did not practice on Wednesday. He should be able to play, but not for your lineup. And then Theo Johnson, how disappointed were you in the drops, Jason?
I was I was playing on Prize Picks, and I had a projection of 1.5, and he didn't hit it. He didn't get more.
He should have.
He certainly should have. He just had 2 super drops. I mean, like the guy's never caught a ball in his life looking drops.
Those are still probably better than the ones where Judy and Tillman throw it up in the air. Those drops are.
Yeah, when you drop it, let the ball go to the ground.
They just bat it down.
That's like a pop.
That's a pop.
Yeah.
Chicago. We got to watch them on Monday Night Football. They go to Detroit to take on the also winless Detroit Lions. The Vegas line, Detroit -6 at home. The over-under 48.5. Ben Johnson's return. Do we think it'll be a good one for Chicago?
Oh, man. This game is fascinating.
We did talk about Caleb having good numbers against Chicago fantasy-wise last year.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to go well for the Chicago Bears. The Detroit Lions were borderline humiliated by the Packers. They were dominated, at least by the Packers in week 1. The coaching staff came out. They were talking about it. Morton was talking about that we've got, our job is to fix problems. We've got to be better. This is a matchup that I think will tell the Lions we need to run the ball a lot more. I expect the Lions to run. You saw what happened when the Vikings turned to the run in the second half as the Bears started getting a little bit tired, and they, Aaron Jones wasn't working, so they brought Jordan Mason, and he just started gashing them. That's the heart of the Lions at home. I think they're going to run all over the Bears.
DeAndre Swift received 100% of the team's running back carries in week 1, played 81% of the snaps. The Lions defense, normally pretty stout against the running game. DeAndre Swift, you just start him because the workload's going to be there?
Yeah,
and the passing game.
It's a floor play, but he'll get you close to 10.
In week 1, Gibbs saw a lot of work, not a lot of production. Montgomery had 11 attempts for 25 yards, 4 catches for 18 yards, played on 37% of snaps. If you look back to last year, that's about what he does. I mean, 38% 2 years ago, 34% last year, 37% in week 1. It kind of seems like Detroit Monty is Detroit Monty, which is play him, and if you get a touchdown, you're happy, and this is a game he probably scores.
Yes.
Is that fair?
I think that's
fair.
I think that's very fair. I would not move too far off of Monty from a bad performance last week in this matchup at home, favored against a run funnel defense.
The matchup here, just to zoom out, I think we're going to get some answers here of if one of these teams, whichever team lays an egg, should one of them do it.
Yeah, they'll be 0-2.
But the panic, like if Chicago goes and upsets the Detroit Lions on the road,
oh yeah,
like that will be panic in the streets. Or if the Bears, with everything they put into it, and they start 0-2, then you're just going to be like, what do you do with these? What do you do with these fantasy players? Like the wide receivers for Chicago, if they put up a game very similar to week 1, I mean, it's going to be awful.
Well, let's talk about the wide receivers on both sides, starting with Jamison Williams. He played 97% of all snaps. He was out there. Had the 4 catches. I think it was just 23 yards. Are you kind of, Jason, with your view on Green Bay, how they performed in week 1 at Lambeau, are you just kind of whatever you were going to do in week 1 with Detroit players, you're doing that in week 2 with Detroit players?
I think you probably are. Jamison Williams, to me, you might have a better option, right? This is not a good matchup. The Bears' passing defense has been really good last year, really good this year, and they should actually be healthier in week 2 than they were in week 1.
What about Debo?
Or at least they could be.
Debo tonight or Jamison Williams?
I would play Debo.
Interesting.
I think that Jamison is just a little on the cusp, and the matchup isn't great here. Obviously, he's got talent. You could throw him in your lineup and just have an explosive single play that wins you your week, but he is a flex
sensation
option.
Ibuka.
I'd go
or
Ibuka.
Jamison Williams.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to sit 2 touchdown Ibuka for week 2 and play Jamison after a tougher week 1. I hope to see the Detroit Lions at home, Goff and Jamison and Amon-Ra get things going, the running game get things going. On the other side, Odunze did have 9 targets. He was 6 for 37 and a touchdown. That was the target high for the team. DJ Moore had 5, but they gave him 3 carries. He's been used in weird ways. I still like Odunze more myself, but I don't blame anybody for going DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who I like more, but I like neither. I mean,
this week?
I want to see more from Caleb before I can confidently start receiving options there. You know, you might have Luther Burden more involved. You might have Colson Loveland more involved. If you take away the unbelievably great touchdown design.
Oh man,
like that play,
that was so
those
good.
those specific situations are what Ben Johnson, like, you're missing those on your 4th and short or whatever. That play design on the goal line was just brilliant to let Odunze be. You're on the
so
goal
open
line.
That Caleb can't miss him.
You're on the goal line and no one's within 5 yards of you in the end zone. I don't know how that's possible. Obviously, he could do it again and again and again, but he only had 37 yards is my point. He led the team in targets, so it's hard for me to trust any receivers there.
Colson Loveland is a cut candidate for you?
Yeah.
I had him in a league where I chose to hold on for one more week, but absolutely he was on that bubble of like, if there was another waiver wire ad out there that was worth it, I would have cut him.
We need more snaps and everything before we get into that.
And pay attention to Caleb Williams' rushing totals. Week 1, 6 for 58 and a touchdown. So he almost had 2 touchdowns that turned into the Odunze throw, but he was able to get out of the pocket and take off. And it seemed to me when watching this game that the prescription for Caleb was like, if those big plays aren't there, like quickly look underneath, quickly look to Swift in the flats, quickly look to the tight end position. Try not to hold the ball too long because that was it. He was setting records, taking sacks last year.
Well, you saw it in the beginning of the game. He came out and they had a plan. They had a script. Drop back, get the ball out, looked awesome. And then as the game got more competitive and the script went bye-bye, then it looked like rookie year Caleb.
The Rams at 1-0 traveled to the Tennessee Titans, who are 0-1. The Vegas line here, Los Angeles -5.5. The over-under is 41.5. That gives the Titans just 18 points. Brian Callahan had the very embarrassing press conference, not understanding that an elbow does equal 2 feet. Sean McVay obviously gets it going on offense for Los Angeles. Cam Ward, pretty tentative in week 1. They were 28th in pass rate on first downs. They were doing the boring hand it off every single time. Problem with that plan is you get behind and then you look even worse, and it kind of was the opposite of what we saw with J.J. McCarthy struggling in the first half. I feel like they just went hyper-conservative with Cam Ward and needed to give him more opportunities. I had a lot of people jump out and get all over us for saying, hey, he wasn't inaccurate. There were a lot of drops by his receivers.
Yes,
it kind of depends on the metrics you lolook at.
Sure, like catchable target rate, which was very bad.
That one was bad, but
he wasn't good. He was, and I don't blame him in his first game against the Denver Broncos defense, but he wasn't.
He only completed 1 of 12 passes over 10 yards, so that should tell you
43% passing completion rate, and he threw a lot of short ones.
Yeah, blame who you want, but Cam Ward, it was a debut performance against a tough defense, and we seem to. The Rams are probably a tough defense as well.
That's what I was going to say. He's got a follow-up performance against a tough defense. Now, he's going to be at home, which might be a little bit nicer, but the Rams looked awesome. They completely shut down C.J. Stroud, and I expect them to completely shut down Cam Ward. They scored 12 points last week. I don't think there's anyone outside of Tony Pollard that I would want to play in this game. Tony Pollard is not a great play.
Still no Ridley then?
I don't think so.
No, I think you just watch Ridley and you watch Io Manor.
Yeah, I'm not dropping. I would have signed Io Manor. I would certainly keep rostering Ridley. This isn't the matchup for him. I'm just going to watch.
I mean, we love the 32% target share for Calvin Ridley, but we need more catchable.
Yeah,
balls.
and then Io Manor was at 37% of first read targets. Puka, Devontae Adams, play them.
Always.
Kyren, play him.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. That matchup's not very complicated.
I love the Rams. I love the Rams. Every week, here's what we say. It doesn't matter the matchup. We just say, go ahead and start Kyren, Puka, and Devontae. And then, let's not worry about
we never
anyone
say
else.
Stafford.
No, because Stafford – because you want to know why? because Kyron Williams gets a touchdown on the goal line every week, no matter what, no matter how inefficient, ineffective. When they get down there, they go, I know what works. Kyron at the goal line. And it works every time, and that means Stafford doesn't.
Oh my gosh, he did do that in week 1, didn't he?
100%. He just
did
what he does.
For some reason, I forgot it. I was like, except for week 1, but no, he did. New England 0-1, Miami 0-1. The Vegas line, Miami -1.5. They are favorites in this one.
Oh, all right.
The over/under is 43.5. That's not a lot.
Did that change? Like, because we had talked about the New England, they were favored in so many games. Did that flip? Or was this already?
I'd imagine Miami stayed favored at home in this one. It's close, though.
Okay, Kyle's confirming. It was already this. Okay.
New England, Tua's had their number, 7-0 against New England in his entire career. Tua had a brutal week 1. I imagine it gets better in week 2 at home. It couldn't have looked worse in week 1. So I think, we've seen enough of Tua. Not every game's been like that. I think it gets a lot better. So that means better things for Achane, for Waddle, yes, for Tyreek Hill. But it's really a matter of where you slot those guys in compared to other options now. It's not an auto-start situation anymore.
Correct.
For either of those guys. I mean, I was more like Tyreek Hill. We've seen the trajectory. Wasn't shocking that it was a tough week. It was much more disappointing to have Jalen Waddle sitting at 4 for 30 in a game and go out half hurt again. I mean, it's just I'm kind of getting done with that song and dance.
The Chicago boys or the Miami boys?
I kind of lean the.
I'm on the Miami boys side. We've seen bad
I'm
games
going to take Chicago.
We've seen. All right, let's think about this.
To be clear, all of this displeases me.
Total receiving fantasy points.
These are what has
total receiving fantasy points. Dolphins versus Bears. Me versus you.
Wait, wide receivers, or are you talking including tight ends?
Tight ends, running backs,
just the tandem.
Okay, just the tandems.
Yeah, more on Odunze and Hill and tight and Waddle. You don't feel so good no more.
I don't feel great about this.
He was trying to sneak.
I wanted Achane's numbers up in there.
Oh my gosh!
And that's why I said receiving. I'll take the 2-pack.
The 2-pack of Miami.
2v2.
Oh man!
All right, I want to hear you say go Dolphins. Then I'll hit the button.
Go Fins.
Waterbed.
Those Fins were on a shark.
Achane's definitely a start. Where are we with Travion? I believe that Mike Vrabel came out and said, look, we need to get him into space. Last week you saw that as, he had 6 catches, but it was for 24 yards. Didn't have enough space after the catch.
No, he really did not.
Played 35% of snaps.
Henderson.
Is he a buy?
I don't think you can, but
yes. I think you could.
He absolutely is a buy. Go see if you can get him.
Ask if you could buy Caleb Johnson.
When we were watching, you can. You could just buy him off the waivers.
Yeah, if you got like 2 fab, you can get Caleb Johnson.
If you're disappointed in a player, like people drafted Travion high, it is possible to leverage a high-performing Week 1 player for a low-performing Week 2 player.
Especially if you did not watch the game. When you look at the underlying metrics and you're like, well, Ramondre was the dude. He was playing so many more snaps, got so much more work, which he did. Yeah. But when you watched the game, it was like, oh, it's coming. You just watched each handoff and go, yeah, it will not be long until Travion Henderson is at least 50-50. And that's, I think, all he needs to be a regular fantasy start. The question, do you start him in this game? I think so.
Henderson?
You can flex Henderson, yeah.
If you're in a half or a full PPR,
I'd play him over Ramondre, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ramondre played 65% of the snaps, had 10 opportunities. Travion had 11, and it was just, Ramondre 7 for 15 on the ground. Henderson's 5 for 27. It's a matter of time.
I have a league where I have to play Ramondre. I actually have 2 leagues that I have to play Ramondre. If Sleeper let me put in retired players, I would play a retired. I'd play.
Which one would you?
I'd play a retired Ronnie Brown.
You wouldn't go to like Arian Foster.
Sure.
Okay.
I think he's trying to say how low you would go.
Yeah, I would play a retired committee back.
All right.
Right. So Joique Bell, welcome to the lineup.
I miss Joique Bell. Yeah.
That was like a fun year.
Stephon Diggs was not very involved. Kayshon Boutte continued to be heavily involved.
He's probably one of the number one guys I'm keeping my eyes on this week. I picked him up. I paid a lot to pick him up. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm starting him this week, but if he comes out and leads the team in targets the way that he did the second half of the year with Drake May and the way he did in week 1, then from here on forward, I will see him as the...
Do I need to speak to a therapist about Ronnie Brown's name coming into my head that quickly? Is that a problem?
Well, what did you think when it came into your head? Why?
I did say why. Yeah. Wildcat Ronnie Brown.
I like it.
Okay.
Your RAM just fired off. It found something.
That's right.
Your RAM.
My RAM.
What do you guys think? So Stephon Diggs ran 33 routes. You know, he's on the field for 41% of the snaps. But in that time, he did see 7 targets. He caught 6 of them for 57 yards. So
pay attention.
This
he didn't really look like himself in those targets to me. He looked more like just kind of an underneath option later career. Just
of taking it's going to take Stephon Diggs some time to recover from the knee injury. I just wanted your temperature check.
Yeah, he was 6 for 57. I mean, that's not.
It's not bad on 40 some odd percent of snaps. If he works his way to 70, 80% of snaps and becomes the number 1 for this team, that wouldn't be shocking. It would be fine for a PPR league. But I don't think he has the ceiling, hopeful upside that someone like Boutte might have.
All right, let's take a break. We'll jump into some more matchups. Foot Clan, draft day is on the way. You got your rankings. You got those sleepers. You got your can't-miss picks. But you know what? You need sometimes a backup because, well, even the best fantasy football team in the world doesn't go according to plan. Sometimes those starters, they don't show up. Wouldn't it be great if you could have the same peace of mind everywhere else? With Progressive, you get more than just a policy. You get a playbook full of coverage options you can count on for your home and for your auto. Want to customize your protection? No problem. You can build your coverage just like your fantasy team, making sure that you have the right players in every position and a backup when you need it most. And when life throws an audible like a fumble in the driveway or a hailstorm at home, Progressive is there with 24/7 support. Don't get caught without a great backup. Visit Progressive.com to quote today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. What's left of the 1-0 49ers take on the New Orleans Saints, who are also 0-1. San Francisco, 3-point road favorites. Over-under is just 40.5 points. We're going to get Mac Jones. And that's
Shanahan finally gets his guy.
It's going to throw a little bit of concern into the mix, I think, for expectations for San Francisco's offense. Saints are at home. Christian McCaffrey did not practice on Wednesday. They're resting the calf.
He should literally sleep from now until 10 minutes before the game kicks off. However long it takes him to stretch and warm up, that's when he
should just be in like a chamber?
Yes.
That's a funny idea.
Because
he can't get hurt if he's just in a sleeping pod.
I mean, don't tell him what he can't do. I mean, Jason can hurt himself sitting.
I have to imagine the way he was able to handle 31 touches last week.
Was it really 31?
Yeah, I mean, he was Christian McCaffrey. He was just the entire locomotive of the train here, and he has been clearly siphoning the health of other players. And he's going to run out of players to take health from. It's draining too fast.
So Jennings, Kittle, and Purdy were 31 touches. Yeah. That's the 3 he took from.
Yeah, and so I'm happy Pearsall's out wide. You know, he's a little further away from the running back position.
Oh, you're saying it's a proximity thing.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
And he
sucks.
It's probably going to be an
O lineman.
Is he a vampire?
It's going to be an O lineman issue. How is any O lineman injuries right now going on?
Soon.
Okay.
Yeah, McCaffrey. He was not great on the ground last week.
No.
3.1 a carry on 22 carries. He was great in the passing game, and you will have Mac Jones behind center. I mean, it doesn't change how you're playing Christian McCaffrey. I think there'll be a couple fewer targets personally because I think Purdy he's got that internal clock that goes straight to Christian McCaffrey after a certain amount of time in the pocket. Mac Jones, if he was wise, would do that. I think we've only had one game in the last 3 years where Purdy wasn't on the field and McCaffrey was, and I think McCaffrey had a couple fewer targets in that one game. It's not a good sample. So that's just my speculative
This is
view.
the guy Shanahan wanted, Mac Jones, over Trey Lance. The speculation that was originally his target. Now you might get the chance to see how that works out. Ricky Pearsall was going to be my start of the week. I think his metrics have been really great. The last 4 games dating back to last season, he's number 3 in the NFL in total yards. It's scary with Mac Jones there, but Mac Jones did hyper target Brian Thomas Jr. last year. To me, that says I'm going to go after the most talented guy on my roster and just see what happens. And if that's the case, I don't think that's hyper-targeting Ricky Pearsall, who's good. I think that is actually just constantly checking it down to Christian McCaffrey.
We also saw Brian Robinson's acclamation. It was 24% of the snaps and 11 opportunities. You could see that go up a little bit. I don't know if 31 touches is going to be, frankly, sustainable for McCaffrey.
It won't be sustainable, but it'll go north. It'll be like 45 this week. Just everything. I'm surprised he's not playing quarterback.
So if you took an over-under on 31 touches, I'm going to take the under.
No, you have to take the under because that's an absurd number, but he will get way too much work.
I don't think you're playing anybody else on that team. I think it's Pearsall, CMC, and that's it.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings on the other side, your start of the week at tight end.
You're not
Juwan Johnson.
You're not going to throw out Tonjes McBasketball?
Tonjes McBasketball will not be out there.
All right.
No.
I just need to get the name in.
Alvin Kamara, play him. Close your eyes. Don't watch.
Correct.
Yeah, I hope he gets more work in the receiving game. That was the only thing that was concerning. He looked good on the ground, had a great touchdown run, and shockingly, like his snap percentage blew me away. I thought this is the year where he's going to be like 50% of snaps, but heavily involved in the receiving game. And it was like, nah, how about you play 80% of the snaps, Kamara?
Olave, 13 targets.
I think Olave, I feel like you have to whisper it, but Olave, if you can buy him cheap, I would
find some start
probably
sits
do
for
it.
me with Olave.
Well, how about him versus both the Dolphins and the Bears guys?
I would play.
I feel like Olave is a better play
Chris
than
Olave.
the 4 of them.
I would
Okay.
chase the volume.
Okay. Buffalo is 1-0. They take on the 0-1 New York Jets. The Jets, who have 3 starts of the week, despite being 6.5-point home underdogs. The over/under is 46.
For the record, I have none of them.
You would like it on record?
Yeah, noted.
How about your dynasty team? Do you have any of them?
I might have Breece Hall.
Yeah. We've got Fields, Hall, and Wilson. It's a consolidation in New York.
Yeah, it really is.
That's what makes you and the fact that they could move the football and that Buffalo was willing to let people move the football on them. We did get the news that James Cook was limited with a hamstring injury on Wednesday, so we're monitoring that. Keon Coleman's still limited. He was dealing with the groin injury. They're going to protect him. I imagine he'll play. He played 94% of the team's routes. He only averaged 69% last year. And so Keon Coleman or Pity City after what you saw in week 1 from both of them.
That's
Keon Coleman was really good.
They're both, I think, going to be
11 targets.
weekly important assets. That being said, Pittman against Denver will have a much more difficult week. So I would go Coleman here.
Jerry Jeudy against Baltimore or Keon Coleman, Mike?
Oh, man. I'm
really chasing Coleman.
I think I'd go Coleman.
Not chasing him that much. Let's talk about a trade offer I made to Andy and see how you feel.
Okay, fine. Let's air it.
Yeah, let's air this out. It's not. So you've always hated Travis Etienne. Say he sucks.
Yeah.
We went into week 1 saying we're going to see who the starter is, but we're not going to overdo the production because it's Carolina.
Sure.
But then he's the running back 3,
and
he produced a lot.
I feel like we're really hard selling Travis Etienne right now.
This is him simultaneously
I'm
saying
trying to
why.
buy Travis Etienne.
Yeah, he is.
I offered Keon Coleman, the wide receiver 2 from last week.
Okay. And what else?
And Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler and Keon Coleman.
For Travis Etienne?
For Travis Etienne. How do you feel about that? That was the trade. That was the whole trade.
How loud was his laugh in your face?
Really? So that means, Mike,
yes.
the fantasy hitman, you believe
I told
in
you
Travis
guys in the
Etienne.
Slack. I said I have to be in on Etienne, and that sucks.
Oh, that makes me feel so glad that that's on air.
I admit it. I admit when it's wrong.
Yeah, but you admitted it in Slack. Now it's on air. Yes.
Oh, I would have.
Yeah.
I did turn it
That's worth
down.
it.
I did turn it down, Mike.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got wide receivers. I needed a running back.
That's part of the issue too. Is everyone
It's not
needs
that bad of an offer.
Everyone
I
needs.
thought you said to me, do I need running backs? You need wide receivers. That's what started the whole thing.
I have Dobbins and Chubb. If you want them, they're available.
Ah.
So, yes, I have quantity, but I would like the quality of ETN over those two guys.
Okay. If that was Chubb Hubbard, then yes. But
it is a crying shame that it is not Chubba Hubbard.
Chubba Hubbard,
because that
so
name
good.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Chuba is still a very great name.
Yes.
But if you could walk around and say my name is
Chubba
Chubba Hubbard.
Chubba Hubbard.
Chubba Hubbard. Oh, yeah.
Chubba.
We'd have some good audio drops for that.
Fields, Hall, Wilson, play them.
Yep.
Josh Allen, of course. Keon, yes. Kincaid, do you buy in? Would you play Kincaid or Juwan? That was
I'd play Juwan.
Frequently asked question.
I'd play Juwan. I would play Ferguson. I'd play Fannin.
Last year, the Jets' defense was real bad against, or I guess that was last week. Last year, they were very good against tight ends. Last week, they were bad. But Kincaid, yeah, the targets aren't going to be what Juwan's will be.
4 targets in a complete shootout.
Yeah, no, we got to move on
Yeah.
from Kincaid as a guaranteed,
Yeah, you can stream him.
Yeah, you're playing Pitts over him, obviously. So,
I would.
If James
Gross.
Cook was somehow out due to the hamstring, is Ray Davis the play? Is it?
Yeah, if he was out, Ray Davis would be the play. I don't expect him to be out at all. He finished this game. This was a Wednesday. If he's, we'll see if he's
If
limited
you have
in practice
James Cook,
today.
are you hitting the wire and picking up Ray Davis right now?
It'd be smart.
Personally, I mean, if I've got an extra roster spot, sure, but I'm probably not going to have someone on my roster I would be willing to drop for him. Right now, we'll find out soon before waivers run tomorrow if James Cook if he's not practicing on a Thursday. Yeah, I'm definitely making.
I'm
that
with
move.
you that I believe that Cook does play. I'm just saying of the, just holistically.
I'll guess he'll be limited today again.
If your guy has a hamstring injury going into the weekend, would you prefer to put because Ray Davis, if James Cook doesn't play, Ray Davis would be incredibly sought after.
Yeah. One more game here. Seattle, Pittsburgh. Game's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 1-0. The comeback win. Seattle, 0-1. Pittsburgh is 3-point favorites, 39.5-point over-under. That is low. Very low. Two good defenses, or at least supposed to be two good defenses.
I don't know if the Steelers' defense is good anymore,
They
man.
certainly weren't against the Jets last week, but I will say this, they have personnel to be good. They've got coaching to be good, so I do believe they'll get that figured out.
Yeah, it was a really rough week one for the Pittsburgh defense. No question about that. Last year, they were top half in fantasy points given up to quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. DK Metcalf was your start of the week, Jason. Jackson Smith and Jigba should be everybody's start of the always.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it.
And when you look at the running back situation, this is when you kind of, Jaylen Warren, I think, probably is the running back you'd feel the safest with in a home matchup where you're favored of all the running backs on both sides.
Yes.
But,
yes, for sure.
But, I mean, beyond that, you're not playing anybody else in Pittsburgh. Kenneth Walker, I can't imagine anybody feels like there's nobody that feels good about putting him in their lineup this week.
No, it would be
I'd play Charbonnet over him.
I think I would too.
I would play Charbonnet over him, but I'm not looking forward to playing Charbonnet. I don't think he's going to – this appears to be a 50-50 split.
Breece Hall had a good time.
And I found
real good time last week.
Kenneth Walker
Pittsburgh.
is, to me, much more the Breece Hall style of back where it's like you get that little crease and then you go versus the Charbonnet. Charbonnet is more like the Braylon Allen type of back where it's I'm the big guy that's going to move the pile. So stylistically – Charbonnet's I don't think he comps to Breece if looking at last week.
I'm just looking at the yards given up to running backs.
Matt Williamson had pointed this out on X that the Steelers have allowed 27.6 points per game since week 13 of last year. Like it's been
total fantasy or like score? Oh, okay.
I'm saying of the are the Steelers still a good defense? I know that's not for the it's not forever since week 13, but it's like that's a sample at the point where you have to start asking a question.
Well, to be fair, if you look at the schedule,
who is
Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's tough.
So those are probably the four best offenses in football last
but
year.
if you're a great defense, that's not happening.
Well, this game, Seattle's only
That many
projected for
weeks.
18.3 points, and they're not missing a starting quarterback. You know what I mean? They have their full allotment of offensive weapons. So we'll see if this game ends up just disappointing for fantasy all the way through. It kind of feels like it might.
Mm-hmm.
That's, 1 week into the season, Seattle, they did a pretty good job on the defensive side against
Top 5
wideouts.
to 20 defense.
What about
boy.
Jonnu Smith?
I'm just watching
Okay.
to see if he's more involved. People wanted us to talk about Calvin Austin's first week performance. They felt like we missed out on that on the waiver show.
He had a good performance. He seems like you're going to need a big play touchdown. A similar stylistically player, not body wise at all, but like Rashad Bateman, where you're going to get a few targets, you're going to get a bomb or two. You could have a big play on a great fantasy day, but I think very low floor, and this is a low over under. I'm not going to chase it here.
Yeah, he was 15.2 a catch last year. That's on the higher end. 17.5 in week 1. That fits the Bateman style that you're talking about. Quick temperature check here on Sharps. Would you play Sharps or Dobbins against the Colts?
I've got Dobbins one spot ahead.
My gut says Dobbins.
Okay. That was Fantasy Forecast presented by Prize Picks. Check out max discounts on the app now, like Travis Kelce at more than 0.5 receiving yards for the September 14th game. Use code footballers and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. We have more matchups tomorrow. We have the Fantasy Face-Off. We have Studs and Duds and Monday Punday coming after the weekend. And, of course, Mike will be live with you Sunday morning, an hour before kickoff. You can check that out, ball.rs/YouTube if you want to do that, and head over there and subscribe. That'll do it for today's episode of the show. Thank you for joining us. Take care, everybody.
Enjoy the football, everyone. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.